Hey, this is Robert. Thank you for tuning into Station Square, and we have a very special episode today. We have Tish Hicks from the VO Dojo, and we're going to be chatting all about the dojo. So, thank you so much for joining me today on this lovely Friday morning. How are you doing?
Excellent. I'm so glad to be here. I know we've been trying to find the time to connect, so appreciate you having me.
Yep, anytime, anytime. So, I guess to really start this off, how would you say that 2025 has been going as far as like VO and, you know, everything with the dojo, just life? Just
Mm.
talk about it.
2025 is an interesting year for me because 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, and 2020 were kind of jacked up. That
Yeah.
pandemic, family crisis, pa my parents dying, and then last year I had breast cancer. So 2025 seems like a breeze because it's kind of the first year in about 5 years that I don't have a major life crisis going on with everything else. That's great. In terms of my own voiceover career, I'm in my 15th year of being one of the voices of Subaru. So that continues wonderfully well. Um, and in terms of the dojo, we are on the brink of just the next evolution of everything we've been working toward for the last 14 going on 15 years. So it's super exciting around here.
Yeah, and I know we'll definitely have a lot to talk about when it comes to the dojo, but I just want to say congrats on because like I know you kind of did talk a little bit about your breast cancer journey, so I just want to say congrats on, just overcoming it.
Thank you. Thank you. It was an intense year last year, but also full of many blessings and really puts everything in perspective. And then when you get through that, you're like, all right, bring it. Let's do it. What's next?
Yeah, praise God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not to be nonchalant about it. I'm very grateful that everything's cool and taking care of myself. So yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, once again, I know we got plenty to talk about when it comes to gratitude and being grateful and just even when everything just kind of is a little topsy-turvy.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things, uh, a, a lot of the approach that we take to voiceover at the VO Dojo is that the internal training is the most important place to start from, that everything comes from the internal training, so that that practice of gratitude, that practice of um, having a kind relationship with yourself in terms of inner critics and making things hard for ourselves, which we do, right? We do. So a lot of everything we do at the dojo starts with that internal training. How do we get aligned with ourselves so we can align with our voices and get them out into the world? The mission of the dojo is aligning people with the power and possibility of their voice. And it happens to be through the vehicle of voiceover. And what we've found happens when we come together to work in this way, it also aligns you with yourself and the world, and getting your voice out into the world. So, yeah.
For sure. So I guess we can just jump right into the first question here, which is
Mhm.
how, because I know you also shared a little bit about your own voiceover journey, but what would you say was the moment that kind of just, what's the light bulb that kind of went off and you kind of decided, you know what, I should give this a shot?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I call it the helicopter coming, in that an opportunity came. And so to set up the helicopter coming, I'm originally from Chicago, and I went to Northwestern University and studied theater in Chicago. Um, And after I graduated, I was doing all the things that you do after you graduate from theater school. And I was working at the box office and taking improv classes at Second City. I was doing regional Shakespeare. Um, I was continuing my opera training. I was working at a jazz club and doing poetry readings in between sets and cocktail waitressing, like all the things that you do. And a friend of mine, who's my then boyfriend, now husband's best friend, is a creative director, Leo Burnett in Chicago, a big advertising agency. And he called up one day and said, "Hey, I've got these spots for Ballet Totals Fitness. I think you'd be really good for them." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Okay." Like kind of knowing that everything, all the experience that I had, I could probably do whatever it was. But I left that session going, this is what I'm here to do. Out of the way, everything else went shum, 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 shum. Like, everything made total sense in terms of it incorporated everything I was doing and, had trained for as a performer. I got paid. I was Taft-Hartley for the union. It was like this. So that was really the moment when I went, oh, here we go. Here we go.
So when you first started out, and especially when we're looking at, with your affiliation, because you pretty much are like the head honcho behind the dojo,
Mhm.
and especially compared to where it is right now. What was something that really caught you by surprise, over the years that you've been running it, or just all throughout the years that you've been working in showbiz?
Mm. Something that's been surprising, like in the creation of the dojo.
Yeah, in the creation, or just pretty much tell the story of how I came to be, and just,
Yeah.
yeah, the evolution of it over
Yeah.
time, and where do you
Well,
see it going in the future?
from that moment when I was like, this is what I'm doing, um, I um, I kind of recognized that this was what I was going to put myself towards. So within the next 6 months, I moved to LA. So I arrived in LA going, taking, um, what's the right word? Having all these connections from Northwestern and Second City and just people from Chicago in general. And so I was able to go, who do you know? What should I do? Like I got guidance from people who were ahead of me on that trail. And so I did everything over the next 12 to 18 months to build my own voiceover career, right? Um, took classes, did workouts, studied with people privately. Like I did all of the things. And this became the foundation for everything we do at the dojo. Couple things happened. I always talk about, you talk about like what's the first break, and getting that first job was the first break. Then realizing and recognizing that because you get a break does not mean you know how to do this, right? Like the thing that I say about the dojo and the journey from I don't know to working pro, which is what the dojo is set up to guide people through. If you think of the top of the mountain as a sustained, successful voiceover career, that wherever you are from sea level to summit, when that helicopter comes, get on it, take it up as high as you can go, and stay there for as long as you can, and then recognize you're not an experienced mountaineer, right? So my first year in LA was my intention is to be an experienced mountaineer and being at the top of that mountain and staying there, right? That's the intention, and then the universe has other plans sometimes too. So that is kind of what happened at first, right? Well, and for a really long time, I got I had I had I was doing all the things, and I felt ready to do my demo. I felt ready, like, okay, I think I'm ready. And I had an amazing demo producer do me one of the biggest favors of my career, because we did a coaching, and she said, "You are 98% ready, and I'm not going to make your demo." And I had that look on my face too, like, okay. And she said,
That's interesting.
because to break in, to make it in this LA market, you need to be 110% ready. You need to be 130% ready, and then you jump on. One of I've got like 100 metaphors for the development process, but one of my favorites is, in order to break into voiceover, you need to be able to get on the freeway going 85 miles an hour with people who've been driving the Autobahn for 25 years. Can you do it? Yes, people are breaking into voiceover every day. New voices are needed. Can you do it on a scooter? No. So you have to get the parts for your car, your vehicle. You've got to pimp your ride, put it together. You've got to become an excellent driver, and then you've got to be able to get on the highway. So she did me a tremendous favor in that she gave me a referral to a casting director's working pro class to get that 12%, that 22%, whatever the math is there, right? And I went back to the drawing board for another 6 months, and then launched my career, then stepped out, and then things started happening. And that went really well. I started booking, regional campaigns for hospitals, and then I booked, gosh, what was first? I can't even remember. Burger King and Alamo and HP, like, just campaigns just started. And then I was the voice of Citibank. I booked Citibank kind of in, it must have been 2000, 2001, because the first the first ads that I did, the first TV spots I did for Citibank back then, the storyline was, just because you have the power doesn't mean you need to use it. And the story in one commercial was buildings imploding. And the story in the other one was like too many rescue emergency vehicles coming to get a cat out of a tree. And so when 9/11 happened, I was like, oh, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. And I don't think those Citibank ads are going to run anymore, because but they did. It ended up being a 7-year campaign, and you know, it just continued. Now, you asked, how did the dojo start? The dojo started actually out of a moment when I had not experienced this before, but I found out that helicopters land, or helicopters come down. So after many, many years, 7+ years of being the voice of Citibank, I had switched agents, went from a very big one to one of the top three. And I'm like, okay, there was an opportunity, and I got the call, and I was like, okay. And it ended up being not a great fit for me. I was pregnant with my second child, and that campaign ended, but I didn't have, but it just ended. It was the first time in my career that the next campaign didn't come, and it was bigger and lasted longer. And it was it was shocking. It was really, really shocking. And a lot of everything that we do at the dojo came from my personal journey of going, kind of when things started going like that, just spiraling down, of going like, wait a minute, putting my hands against the walls of that, and going like, wait a minute, I know I'm good at this. I know this is something that I'm here to do. What is it? What is it? How do I get my mojo back? So it was when I was on that personal journey, finding that, getting back to myself, and uh, I had an opportunity to teach what is it called, a peer group through a Northwestern alumni organization. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you some stuff that I know. In putting that together, combined with, the reflection that I was in process, taking care of myself to get myself back aligned, in alignment with myself, to get aligned with the work, I crossed this second threshold into just a second calling of teaching. I'd never thought of myself as a teacher before, but then I suddenly went, oh, wait a minute. In the same way that all these different things that I was doing as a performer suddenly came into alignment, with with crossing into the threshold of voiceover. Teaching also aligned many things that I did. So all of that performing stuff still happening. Um, then I was also a kickboxer. Benny the Jet Urquidez is my kickboxing sensei, and I am by no means a professional kickboxer, but I have trained with legend, and I'm part of that family of as my sensei, and that's my kickboxing dojo. I also his wife is a medicine woman shaman that I've worked with for decades now. So there's a lot of the spiritual and internal work that comes from my work with her, and road dressage, and like all these things that were like, what? How do all these things go together? When I crossed the threshold into teaching, I was like, oh, okay, this is this is why all these things are in my life, because they're all kind of art forms that take a lifetime to master, and you continue to master, and require discipline and focus and all of your heart and all of your brains and all of your spirit to be successful at. So that it started as a peer group and has just evolved over the years. Each time recognizing, oh, what do people really need? Oh, what do people really need? And that's where we've gotten to be this full holistic training center. So,
So awesome. And this is kind of an interesting question, but do you learn as much from the students when you host the webinars and VO workouts?
oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think one of the most powerful things about the dojo, we so the dojo is designed to guide, support, connect, and accelerate from I don't know to working pro. So we have our development division and our working pro division, and the development division is broken into our foundational class that's called You Should Do Voiceover, um, and then into belt levels. That's the first of 5 belt levels, that guide through the journey. So you asked, oh, and in the holistic approach, we have 7 areas of mastery that we look at all at the same time, or in conjunction with each other, not all at the same time, right? But so mindset, which we've talked about, skill set, tools, techniques, frameworks of thinking, hands-on real world experience, like how this is what you'll be doing as you're building your skills and building your business. The technical, right? We have to know how to record ourselves and have a session ready studio and know how to run it. Your vocal and physical instrument. Then the business of voiceover, right? It's an entrepreneurial endeavor, so we instill that from the beginning. And then, most importantly, here's the answer to your question: do I learn from everybody? Most importantly, community and connection. So, the heart of the dojo is this internal work, but it's also we come together to learn with and from each other. And that is always how, we are always learning with and from each other. When people are come through the belt levels of the Mystery to Mastery program, that's white belt is the launchpad and workout, our foundation class that opens awareness. Yellow belt is exploration. And then green belt is self exploration. What are you bringing to the party? That becomes your demo preparation, right? And then blue belt is demo production. Let's make a product that you will bring to market. Brown belt is integration. How are you going to launch your business to serve your life? And then we cross the threshold when we earn our black belts. Now we're ready. Now our work begins, right? And we cross the threshold into our working pro division. That has three elements. But when people cross that threshold into working pro, that's called our nth degree program, like nth degree black belt. And we shift our relationship. We call our teachers senseis, like martial arts dojo. And when you cross through that threshold, we become voiceover colleagues. I always say, if you happen to find yourself in a trench on a Death Star, having to, shoot something to blow it up, and my voice as a sensei comes through to help you, that's great. But you're flying that X-wing fighter, right? And then, just in terms of the realities of the business, if you are prepared in a way to get on the freeway, right? To get on the Autobahn. If you are prepared, there is there's nothing that keeps you from booking a job that there's nothing that keeps you from booking a job in the same way that I'm looking to book a job as well, right? If we have that mindset, right? So we're always learning with and from each other, and always holding the space for each other too. So when I hold the space for somebody to be able to see themselves in a new way or in a powerful way or ground themselves, then I learn about myself as well. So, yeah.
With everything, yeah, that's really,
Mhm.
really nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a really nice way of putting it, really. Is there anything that I wanted to say to that? Yeah, because like you were talking about how you put more of yourself, because it was something that I often talk about on the show. It's we got to put ourselves out there, and we just got to be true to ourselves and not just try to pretend to be somebody else or just,
Mhm.
try to copy. I mean, like, it's good to take influence from somebody, but doing your own thing is also it's definitely is something that's going to stand out. What makes you uniquely just, okay, what is something that is, you know, what is Tish gonna do for this? What is, say, Robert gonna do for this
Mhm.
read? It's just something that just makes you just gotta find something that really works for you. Like, I know that with something that might work for somebody, like one person, and it's really important that you go to different coaches because, like, I know, say, if somebody is doing the dojo, it might not be for everybody, but I know that one person, like, some people are going to be like, yeah, I got so much out of this. Like, I really learned from coaches, like with the guests that you bring on, like Bob Bergen or Dave Vinoy or so on and
Mhm.
so forth, Lori Allen, Brittany or Ryan and all these guys. I just really think that if something just really sticks with you, then hey, you're definitely doing something right. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that we really try, a lot of what the dojo is about, comes from I know I always feel like because I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing voiceover for 30 years, which always makes me feel like I'm an old lady. Like, back in my day, I remember we used to go to the agency and that's where we recorded, right? Um, but I don't feel that old really. But the reality was back in the day that there was this communal experience of working at a level of excellence in seeing each other every day, right? So back in the day, the game was you moved to a major market, right? Because that was where the biggest opportunities were to get to these biggest things. Um, you built your skills like I did to get representation at a major agency. That major talent agency had relationships with the major advertising agencies, and that's where the opportunities were. So once you got to here, it was kind of like a trout pond because there was a certain number of people here, but all the jobs were here. And so you went, like put your poll in and here's something came out. Now it's really different. And the pandemic shifted everything even more, right? We have to be making our plans of which waters we're going to be fishing. Is it the ocean? Is it a lake? Is it a pond? Are we working all three of those oceans? We can do this from anywhere if we have the proper internet connection and know how to run our business and build relationships, right? And it's so different. It's so different now. So a lot of what the dojo is, back in the day, you'd see people every day in the lobby. You'd work with a booth director every day and get feedback on, you developing your skills. You'd see your team, you'd see your agents, you'd see the assistants, and you'd talk to business affairs to get your checks. Like it was very hands-on and very communal, right? And that exchange of energy. Now we're all in our little boxes by ourselves. And we have to create that community and connection and that place where people are working at a level of excellence, right? Because if you're at a major agency, you need to be working at a certain level of excellence and that we're amplifying our efforts. That's kind of the spirit of the dojo.
Nice. Can
Hmm.
you share any social media, websites, or just anything about upcoming
Oh,
appearances before
yes.
we close this out? Yeah,
Yeah,
just talk about it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
self-promo
I,
time.
yeah, I think everything is at the VO Dojo. I think that's right. I should check
Pretty
it
sure
before
that
we
it
go.
sounds
Yeah,
about right. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. If you have any doubt, the website is www.thevodojo.com. Um, and if you're interested in talking more with me or someone on the team, you can go to thevodojo.com/CWD. That's continuing with the dojo. So that'll get on my calendar. Um, and in terms of what's going on, oh my gosh, so much good stuff is happening. This is what I was talking about, like arts.
Yeah,
So
what you got
we've
cooking up in the future? Yeah.
we have been invited to have a booth at the LA Comic Con next week, which is huge. It's a huge opportunity, and we're so excited. One of our dojo members, who's part of the team, is someone who, Emily's son, who booked her first AAA video game when she was a yellow belt in the program, and she's just been rocking it and doing cons and stuff like that. So she's been instrumental in creating this connection with LACC. So that's happening. We have we've got our last two You Should Do voiceover launchpad and workouts coming up. That's our foundational class where everything begins. We got one in October, one in November. And then three times a month, we do our VO Dojo Pro Fight Club. Our Pro Fight Club is part of our working pro division, but that's where we have it brings together top notch talent with the decision makers who hire us. So, like, for instance, next Tuesday, Ned Lott is coming. He's an animation director who's directed Disney features and Pixar features and Studio Ghibli features, and is just one of the most brilliant guys. So we do that 3 times a month, and then where we know each other from the that always warms my heart. Every month, we do two free events. The first is called Ask the Sensei, where I invite a colleague to join me and we answer questions. And that's where Bob has come and Laurie has come, Bob Bergen and Laurie Allen and Dave Fenoy. And so we're always there. The idea is we're here to answer your questions. And then on the that's the first Wednesday of the month. And then on the third Wednesday of the month, we do informational webinar called the Get to Know VO, where we focus on a topic. For instance, coming up in October, Sebastian Cruteau is coming to talk about extreme voices and creature voices for the Halloween season and beyond. So, yeah. So the way to think about the dojo is that we are so excited to have everyone join us at the table, and no matter who you are, where you are in your journey, how much resources you have, we we come join us at the table and just have chips and salsa and let's ask the sensei and get to know VO. It's free. Show up. You're part of our community. We're here for you. And then it's all the way up to the full training program, which would be, you know, like the full combo platter and a top shelf and a top shelf margarita, right? But everybody, there's something here for everybody, and we really want to be a place where people can truly start their career and then carry it on throughout, from all the way from I don't know to working pro. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Any final thoughts that you want to close out with? Just real quick.
Um, yeah. First of all, thank you. Going back to the gratitude. We when we connect with each other, we expand, both of our worlds expand, right? When we make these connections. And I think a good thing to keep in mind about voiceover is it's not easy, but it doesn't have to be hard, right? We don't blow smoke up people's skirts about it being like, yeah, it's so easy, and then you just in like, yeah, no, it's not easy, but it doesn't have to be hard. And when we come together and there's a structure and a path that we work, we carry on together, we walk together, then we amplify our efforts and get us where we want to be faster and deeper and stronger. So, yeah.
Yeah, very well said. Well, I don't want to take up more of your time, so thank you so much for joining me today on this morning, and I'm glad that we finally got
Uh,
this to work out. And best of luck to everything moving forward with the VO Dojo, and to anybody that is watching this. I am also going to be at LA Comic Con next weekend, so
oh,
yeah,
awesome,
pretty hype.
awesome, cool,
Yeah,
cool, cool. Yeah,
yeah. So I'm
we're
pretty
gonna
excited about.
be we're gonna
I'm
be
sorry.
at the in the Akaba station for anime. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
so
I gotta. That reminds me, I gotta check the schedule
so
because it's kind of been yeah. Since I'm gonna be there next weekend, I might as well
yeah,
just start
yeah.
planning stuff out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come by, come say hi. We're
Yeah,
doing a we're doing a free like kind of, you want to do voiceover webinar after the intensive, and then, or after the Comic-Con, and then we're also doing a really cool anime 101 ADR class. It's going to be like really affordable, $27, and show you like this is how anime works. This is what it's about. So lots of really cool opportunities to continue to explore with everyone we get to meet. So
yeah, right
yeah,
on. Well, thank you so much for watching, and thank
sure.
you, Tish, once again for joining me. And until next time, I'll see you all on Station Square. And prayerfully I'll get to see some of y'all at LACC next weekend. So take care and yeah, let's party. Alrighty.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, Robert.
Awesome. Thank you.